Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Episode 4. We have officially passed the halfway point when it comes to this 6-episode event. And you know what? I think it's sticking the landing. I honestly think there is a lot of people who are going to consider this better than WandaVision. Now, currently for me, watching these as they have come out, WandaVision leans a little bit more to my direction of storytelling and character pieces and that kind of stuff. Saying all that, this is a really well-made episode, a really great piece of television. It does a few things that I'm like, yeah, that's kind of cheap or obvious, but I can't hate this show. I don't think there's been a single moment or characterization or idea presented in the Falcon and Winter Soldier that I would consider to be bad. I think everything the show has set up, everything it's telling us, has been perfect and poignant and knew exactly what it was doing. There is no error in this. There is no time for error. There's no margin of error. Everything it is doing is perfection. I think that is great. I just personally think WandaVision is more inclined to my taste in cinematography and camera work and storytelling, but this is great. So, if you are a fan of a bunch of characters standing in a room, then they fight, then they go to another room, they stand in there and they fight, then they go to another room, they stand in there and they fight, you are going to love this episode. Now, I'm not saying that as a negative, because it's fun. It makes sense. That's a comic book. We do our talkie, we do our action. We do our talkie, we do our action. It worked really well for this. There was a lot of great moments, a lot of cool things that I enjoyed seeing. Like last episode, we ended with Ayo. I think that's the name of the character, Ayo or something, from the Wakanda. Dora Milaje. She comes to find Bucky. She's like, we want Zemo, so bring him back. And, he's like, just give me time. He's an ends to a mean. I can get it done. Just trust me. And I like that we start this episode with, this flashback to Wakanda, where Ayo is doing this, the retelling of the Winter Soldier, the lines and the words that can reignite Bucky's Winter Soldier, but they don't reignite him and he breaks down crying. I think that is some of the best stuff Sebastian Stan has ever done in any movie or series he's been a part of. That was really good because you can feel every single piece of frustration and emotion playing off that guy in the scene. It was so good. You open up with that in this episode. I'm like, you really hit the nail on the head. That was great. I absolutely cannot believe that is what we got here. It just made me yes, Bucky is the tragic character in the same way that Wanda was the tragic character throughout WandaVision. Sam is the one who is becoming the hero, showing what the world needs to be, but Bucky's the one who's been through it all, is trying to be like, Sam, this is what it is. This is where we are. That's great. I really liked that. So, yeah, like I said, we're in a room and we're talking to people. We're with Zemo. We go to a new location to find the woman who died has a connection to Carly. We're trying to figure out that. We don't get any information. Somehow Zemo gets the information because he's able to persuade some kid of a couple of Turkish delights. Really fun angle. Again, Daniel Brühl, just incredible. Just, he is so perfect for this role. He just understood exactly what they wanted him to do in here, and it worked fantastic. He is playing the creepy Hannibal Lecter type, and it works. It really works for this. I think that's really great. So we do realize that our boys, John Walker and Lamar, found Sam and Bucky. So it's kind of another team up. And this is where I'm like, yeah, we're standing in a room, then we fight. They show up, we go to the new location, we fight people there. That's pretty much all this episode is. Now, it doesn't need to be anything more. Why should it? It's pretty much perfectly set up for what it is trying to do. I like that a lot. So, I've said before, and I'm going to reiterate it here, John Walker, Johnny Walker as I like to call him, I really think he is one of the best additions to the MCU in the past few years. I think just because the character is so clearly trying to do the right thing, what he considers to be the right thing, he is doing that. He is following what he believes is the right moral code to get everything done. But he's so angry and kind of slow-witted and not the sharpest tool in the shed kind of a guy that he can't see the bigger picture outside of, I need to get this done the right way. I love his character. He is the best part of this for me. I've made a statement. I'm going to say it here again. I don't collect any action figures from the MCU, but I'm going to buy every single piece of action figure or collectibles that have Johnny Walker in them because I just love that character so much. I cannot wait to see more from him. We'll get to that at the end here. We figure out where Carly is. We're going to go head out to stop her. And basically, we're giving Sam a few minutes to figure out if he can talk Carly down from doing something stupid. And because, Sam is the voice of reason. He's the one out of everybody we've seen in this show who should become Captain America, who should be the one take up the mantle, and he thought it was a bad idea, we know, and now he's going to go talk to Carly, and there's like genuine connection there because they both of these characters, Carly and Sam, they both believe the same thing. They both believe that maybe the world needs to be right in this way and have everything united, and the fact that things went back to normal as soon as everybody came back from the snap and the blip, it's not good. We were a united people. We had no borders. We were helping refugees, taking care of people. And now everything is falling apart just because the world's back to what it was. I love that. That is such a great area to play. If you're doing stuff with the blip, I said it last week, I don't like this that every story is going to become about like the stuff with the blip and the repercussions of that, but this is how you handle it. This is how you handle that idea. I really like that. And it looks like that Sam is actually getting through to this girl, like, this is the wrong way to do about it. Do you think the woman who saved you, Donya, I think is her name, do you think this is what she'd want you to do? Going around doing this, there's other ways to fix the world. This is the wrong way to do it. I loved that. But of course, you know something has to go wrong. Because the entire time that's happening, Johnny is on edge and he's ready to like burst in and take some heads. And he does. He comes in for the kill. I just love the way he uses the shield when he's attacking people. It's just so straightforward. It's like throw, it hits, comes back. There's nothing really creative about him, which is something that I think really goes to show you he is the perfect soldier. He's not a great man. He is the perfect soldier. I really like that. So Carly escapes. She thinks she was set up by Sam, but of course she wasn't. So, you know, we're doing the fight. We're trying to get Carly and the rest of the Flag Smashers. Everyone's taking some beats, doing some fun. It looks great. Really good use of like the shaky cam when we're doing the fight scenes in this episode. A lot of like close-ups and shaky cams. That might be distracting for some people. I don't like it that much, but this show has a very personal feel, so I'm okay with the idea of like bringing the camera up, moving it around when we're jostling everywhere. It works for the most part. There was a few times I'm like, this is really annoying, but it didn't bother me too much. I think it worked well. So Carly escapes, but not before we get a great scene where Zemo tracks her down, and instead of like killing her, she drops all the super soldier serum that she got in the last episode, and he just breaks them. He just steps on every vial of the super soldier serum, except for one piece of the serum that does manage to roll away that he doesn't see. And who comes in to see it? Something we've all been thinking since episode 2, John Walker, Captain America himself. He finds the soldier serum because there's an underlying theme, or story I should say, that John wants to figure out how to be a better like hero, how to be a better Captain America, and he's like, I don't have the super soldier serum. So he's kind of asking everybody, like, what should I do? Should I take it? Should I have it? He's even saying, you know, Bucky, it's easy for you to say when you're like the strongest person in this room. And then later on, when they all get attacked by the Dora Milaje because Zemo escapes and they're trying to like get him back, which is, I like that fight scene where it's just like a bunch of the women of color beating up all the dudes, beating up America pretty much. That was sick. That was awesome. And in that fight scene, Zemo escapes. So we don't know where Zemo is. He's gone. He got out of there while everyone was trying to capture him. A very Zemo thing to do. And at the end of that fight, John's just like, I lost to these girls pretty much, and they're not even super soldiered up. So he's like, maybe I should take the serum to try to do the right thing better now, which I love it. I love it. It's so good because he's like, I just lost. I can't do this. I need to be a better Captain America. It's a very John Walker thing to do. I love it. And I really like Wyatt Russell. He seems like a very like nice guy who's like, I get the character. I think he really understood like, I'm going to be the punching bag. I'm going to be abused online and in my real world by fans of this for a very long time who don't understand the character. And he seems like a good sport about it where he's like, I'm Kurt Russell's son. I'm Goldie Hawn's son. I can take this shit. Like, let's go. I'm fine with it. So I think that's really good. He really captured like the underlying anger of John, and I just loved it so much. It was such a good thing to see. It's just really good. I really liked it. So we get another scene where Sam and Bucky are going to try to talk to Carly because she calls Sarah, which is Sam's sister, and they set up a meeting to talk to, but they don't want anybody else to come in there and do anything. But because of that idea being presented, Carly's like, I can't just like give up on this cause now. There's real just for things that are happening. In case you wanted, you know, Carly to kind of be a good person, we saw her blow up people in the last episode, so she's kind of like unredeemable at this point, but we did redeem Bucky, so we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Sam is breaking through to her. He's actually breaking through to her, but again, where people standing in a room and more people come in to fight, in comes John Walker. in a really great scene. So again, we got another action beat here. There's a lot of action in this episode. I know some people are really into that. To me, the action is just like the side piece of the actual narrative being told, but the action in this was really good. So we are seeing the ramifications of John Walker taking the super soldier serum. He's taken heads. He is doing a great job of fighting because they captured Lamar, and now he's trying to figure out how he can take them all down and not look suspiciously like he took a super soldier serum. He doesn't really hide it towards the end of things. It's looking really great. It's really good. So we all end up in like a room. People are fighting. All of a sudden, like, one of the flag smashers with the super soldier serum throws Lamar into a wall. He's already wounded and stabbed, and he like takes a stab wound for John, and he gets thrown against a wall. And something I predicted from the beginning of this, Lamar dies. Lamar dies, and suddenly everyone's standing in the room like, oh shit, this is not going to go well. All of the flag smashers run. Carly escapes. Sam and Bucky don't even try to stop her. She just leaves, but she doesn't even go far because we see her at the end of the episode, like, close to them. So it's kind of more like, oh shit, maybe now Carly's gonna like work with them to do the right thing. Anyways, we see that the kind of like second in command flag smasher, I can't remember what his name was, he is the one that kills Lamar, making John go into like a berserker rage, chases him out of the building. They get into a fight. He throws him onto the streets. It's just beating the shit out of him with the shield. Suddenly, the public's watching. Sam and Bucky are off in the corner. Carly's watching too. They're all just staring as like the cameras are on John Walker. He picks up the shield. Bash, 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 bash. Very Vincent D'Onofrio in Daredevil. Very Homelander in The Boys. He kills the flag smasher. Blood is splattered all across the shield. The symbol of America, the thing that the government wanted to make, turns out to be a complete asshole. And what a great representation of the American government. It's so good. It was such, that was just the icing on the cake for me when it came to John Walker's character. They nailed it. They got it perfectly. They figured out how to make this leftist zealot asshole, this douchebag, this guy who's so like against everything Steve Rogers believed in, who's a douche and just the worst. They made him a reasonable character with actual motives, with actual characteristics that make him a perfect soldier, not the brightest guy in the world, but angry enough that you believe his actions and wanting to live up to the legacy of the title he has inherited. It's perfect, and he kills the flag smasher, and that's where the episode ends. It's great. You know, we got so much great stuff in this episode. The Sam stuff with Carly, those two are like, we're on the same page, but we're doing the same thing in a different way. The stuff with Bucky, like, just expressing his complete frustration with now being able to be his own person and not under the influence of the Winter Soldier. Zemo continues to be a great character. John continues to be a great character. Everything about this episode was great, and we got to see Wakanda in a new light and have the Dora Milaje show up even for a minute. It was very exciting. I just think this is going well. I like every second of this show. I can't wait for the last 2 episodes because I think it's going to stick the landing. So thank you guys so much for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, all that good stuff, and I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.